He lived his entire life completely certain of heaven. He died with a smile on his face, surrounded by weeping relatives who whispered about what a good man he was. He closed his eyes in this world, expecting a hero's welcome in the next. But the moment he opened them on the other side, he didn't find the warm embrace of a savior. He found a silence so cold it shattered his soul. This isn't a story about a murderer, a thief, or a monster. It's a story about a man who looked exactly like you. A man who sat in the pews, paid his taxes, and followed the rules. And that is exactly what makes this the most terrifying vision Padre Pio ever saw. We need to talk about the third kind of soul. We know about the sinners who die trembling, begging for mercy. We know about the saints who die radiating peace. But there is a middle category, the dangerous category. The souls who arrive at the gates of eternity not with a plea, but with an invoice. They believe God owes them. And according to a chilling tradition passed down from the followers of Padre Pio, this spiritual arrogance is the deadliest trap of all. To understand the weight of this vision, you have to understand the man who saw it. Francesco Forgione, known to the world as Padre Pio, was a living paradox. In the middle of the 20th century, an era of atomic bombs, television, and aggressive skepticism, he was a medieval mystic dropped into a modern world. He was a glitch in the matrix of secularism. For 50 years, he walked around with open, bleeding wounds in his hands and feet, the stigmata, baffling doctors, and drawing millions to a remote friary in San Giovanni Rotondo. But his physical wounds weren't his most frightening gift. It was his eyes. People were terrified to look him in the face because they believed he didn't just see their bodies, he stared straight into the naked reality of their souls. He could smell sin. He could feel the state of grace. And sometimes, God pulled back the curtain of time and showed him the moment of death itself. The story goes that Pio was granted a vision of a specific soul at its particular judgment, the instant immediately after death, where the soul stands before Christ. But this wasn't the judgment of a criminal. This was the judgment of a good man. Let's unpack who this man was, because he sounds uncomfortably familiar. He was the pillar of his community. He followed the 10 Commandments, not because he loved God, but because he loved order. He didn't kill, he didn't steal, he didn't commit adultery. He treated the moral law like a checklist. Check, check, check. He went to Mass every Sunday, not to worship, but to clock in. He gave money to the poor, not because his heart broke for their suffering, but because writing that check made him feel superior. It was a transaction. He was buying his own righteousness. In his mind, he was building a massive, towering monument to his own goodness. He had a ledger in his head. On the left side, maybe a few minor impatient moments. On the right side, a mountain of good deeds. He looked at that balance sheet and concluded that God had no choice but to let him in. He didn't need mercy. Mercy is for failures. He needed payment. So the vision shifts to the moment of truth. The man dies. The noise of the world cuts out. He stands in the absolute, stripping silence of eternity. And he doesn't kneel. He stands. He waits. He's expecting the applause. He's expecting the well done, good and faithful servant. He looks at the burning light of Christ, and he doesn't see a father who sacrificed everything to save him. He sees a boss who needs to sign off on his timesheet. He holds out his spiritual ledger, his list of, I did this, I gave that, I fasted then, and he waits for his reward. There is no love in his heart, only expectation. Only the cold, iron logic of a contract. And this is where the vision turns into a nightmare. The tragedy wasn't that God looked at this man and screamed in anger. It was much worse. God simply showed the man the truth. In the blinding light of reality, the man's good deeds began to disintegrate. The charity, dust, because it was done for applause. The prayers, ash because they were empty words spoken to a ceiling. The church attendance? Hollow because it was just social posturing.